Hello everyone, welcome to TALRadio. This is me, RJ Saankhya, hosting through the interview today. Music is a universal language that transcends all boundaries and connects people from all walks of life. It's a reminder for us, for our shared humanity, and an ode to the diversity that colors our world, and a celebration of a collective existence. But why am I talking about music today? Isn't this supposed to be an interview? Of course, it is an interview today, but we are going to explore about this unique organization which is all about music. And I'm talking about Playing for Change Foundation. So Playing for Change Foundation is a non-profit organization that uses music education as a tool to create positive change for diverse people and their communities. And it was founded in 2007 by Mark Johnson and Whitney Kroenke and is closely tied to Playing for Change movement, which aims to connect people around the world through the power of music. Isn't it such a beautiful idea? Now this makes me more curious to know about the foundation, but before we jump in, I have to introduce you to our guest today who's going to guide us through this wonderful foundation. I'm honored to introduce our guest, François Viguié, Director of Education of PFC Foundation. So François started to work with the PFC Foundation in February 2010, and he currently serves as the Director of Education and has been involved in the creation of new music programs in different countries such as Rwanda, Bangladesh, and Brazil. And his academic history is so interesting. François studied History of Arts and Cinema at the Autonomous University of Barcelona, graduating with a master's degree in documentary film. And I'm really excited to be hosting a person so diverse and creative, learning and passionate about music. So without further ado, let me welcome François Viguié onto the show. Hi François, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm doing great, thank you.
Perfect. So I think the best part of today's interview would be knowing about your background, like arts, cinema, documentary filming, music. You really seem to be talented. So tell us more about yourself and what exactly inspired you to work with the PFC Foundation.
Okay, so my name is François Viguié. I come from the south of France and I've been living in Barcelona for the last 20 years, where I came to study some time ago now, and I started to work with Playing for Change a long time ago. My first encounter with Mark Johnson, the founder of the project, was back in 2005 when he was starting the song Stand By Me and taking it around the world with help the production of the and I started working with the Playing for Profit organization that creates music schools around the project in Mali, West Africa, where we created a school in a village about 50 kilometers from the capital city, Bamako. Since then, I've been traveling a lot. I've been working in a lot of different countries, helping to create music schools and programs in Africa, in Asia, and Latin America, and helping to manage our now 18 programs across 13 countries. And we're actually about to announce and open new music programs this year in Peru, in Colombia, in the Pine Ridge Reservation in South Dakota in the United States. And yes, that's basically a little overview.
Yeah, perfect. So my next question is, how exactly do you approach your role as Director of Education, and what strategies have you implemented to ensure the success of PFC Foundation's music programs?
So I would say, the main approach we're having regarding, teaching music and using music as a tool for change is to use the local culture as a foundation for everything we do. Those schools are helping, and those programs are helping youth to know more about their own culture and learn the instruments that, have gone through centuries sometimes. But our programs are also about being a window to the world. So we're not only teaching local music, but we're teaching, modern music, blues-based music, and all kinds of different styles. So the approach we have, again, is really based on the capacity, the context of each of the locations where we operate. So that's, to us, kind of a mantra to start, develop, and grow our, music programs.
Wonderful. So can you give us more details about the foundation and how exactly does it operate?
So the Playing for Change Foundation is a 501c non-profit organization and an international NGO. So we also create local NGOs to support the programs that we operate global level. Then we mainly and mostly rely on local workforce. What I mean by that is that we employ local teachers, musicians, dancers in our programs. We at the local level, but that happens sometimes. We have a few exceptions to that, but mainly we're working with, local people, with traditional music, local culture, and also a will to create a window, basically combining local and global approaches.
Wonderful. So can you talk a bit about the role of music in promoting social change and community building, and how the Playing for Change Foundation is working to advance these goals?
So I would say that is an underrated tool to create change. Science has demonstrated that music has, tremendous effect on people, tremendous positive effect on many levels. So we use that as the key to social change and social development. And we obviously, go a little beyond music. We obviously teach dance, but in some cases we teach languages, we teach art, visual art. But the music is really the core of what we do and the key to open doors for sustainable social development and social change.
Very true. So the Playing for Change Foundation has developed 18 music and education programs across 50 locations in 13 countries, if I'm not wrong. So, which also means that
You're right.
Operates in a number of cultural contexts, right? So how does it adapt to fit the needs of different communities?
Every place is special. Every place has its own particularity, but, we're all human beings. So, from all of the travels I've been doing over these last years, the one thing I've been able to witness is that no matter the culture, we're all one, and we all have the same interests and, things that makes us sad or makes us happy are basically the same around the world, regardless of cultural differences. And music applies anywhere and in any culture and any context. And that's kind of what facilitates the work we're doing, cultural barriers and divisions. So we're able, and what we're doing is we're not applying a curriculum that's, flat everywhere. We're working with each community, each program to develop something that is related to each context. Age, range of the children, to the context where many different cultures we work with. And music seems to work, across the board, basically. So that's, an advantage we have by dealing with something like music, is that it applies everywhere.
Perfect. Yes. So my question, next one is, how can people get involved with the Playing for Change Foundation and support its mission? And is that okay even if they don't have any musical background or expertise?
Yeah, you can definitely help us without having a musical background. The best way to support us is to go to our website, share our website on social media, make a donation, support one of the programs or support our mission globally. And you can do that very simply by going to our website. But more importantly, I think one way to help us is to witness about the power of music. So if you're a musician, if you're a music teacher, share our mission, share with your, community the work we're doing. I think, that we would be in a better world if there was, one music school every 100 kilometers around the globe. And, we need the support of other NGOs to be able to not complete our mission, but take it to the next level. And we're convinced that, music can have a very important impact on youth if it's, spread out widely, and we see that, in the countries where we see the difference, we see the impact on those kids, and we see the before and after they learn music, and the impact is tremendous and completely underrated.
Yeah, so I've seen a lot of music videos from your organization. So it creates a lot of content, right? Can you give us a quick tour of how you record the music and how you select the artists? And finally, how does the music sales are getting used?
So basically, Playing for Change is composed of playingforchange.com, which is a production company that creates videos and promotes the Playing for Change band. And playingforchange.org is the foundation, the Playing for Change Foundation, that creates music schools around the world. So the work playingforchange.com is doing with the videos is, basically the songs around the world are about recording one artist somewhere and then obviously filming him, taking the song with us, have another musician listen to the song and play on top of it. And after, several travels, we end up with an original mixture of different countries, different flavors. And, we're using a pretty simple setup, which is, microphones, nice microphones, cameras, nice cameras. And we always, or, in 99% of the cases, record musicians live and outside. That's how we do it. And, Mark Johnson, who's the creator of the project,
yes,
is also a sound engineer, right? He's the one who's been, mixing and producing the music of all these videos that you've seen. And he's the one who had the idea to do that. Back in, he started in the USA, basically doing a song across the USA. And then by 2005, he decided to go globally and started traveling the world. And that's how I met him. He was starting Stand By Me, So now we're, Stand By Me was released in 2009. So during that time period, we've, created the Playing for Change band. We've created more than 18 music programs around the world. And playingforchange.com has been releasing hundreds of videos of local artists, live outside, and songs around the world.
Yes, I've seen all of them and they are really wonderful. So tell us, what are some of the biggest challenges of the foundation, like the foundation faces, and how does it work towards overcoming them?
Well, I would say the main challenge we're facing is being able to sustain our programs. We want to make sure those programs still exist 20 years from now. So we, are committed to sustaining our programs by funding them and finding funding for each one of them. So that's an ongoing process. And I would say that this is the main challenge we're facing, because that's, something that has no end, right? We always have to, fund the programs. So, and now we have 18 programs around the world. So that's a big challenge, but we're able to do it and everything is going great.
Wonderful. And all the listeners who were listening also, I really hope that they come across you and donate a lot of money to you. I really wish you that. Now, finally, before we leave, another quick question. So tell us how the PFC Foundation impacted different communities, and give us your favorite success story, if you have any.
Okay, so maybe one example of how music has had a tremendous impact on the community is that village where we created a school back in 2010. We opened the school in October 2010, and since then we've received a lot of support. And the village, which is a kind of a remote village, a traditional village of griots who are the holder of traditional culture in Mali, there's been tremendous change for the village. The school has been helping kids to do better at public school, in their studies. We've been able to find water in the village, create a well, distribute water across the village. We've been, able to find solar panels indirectly for most of the villagers in the country. We've been able to take our students to perform in other countries. Last year, for example, they came to perform at a festival we organized in the south of Morocco at our program Judur Sahara in the Saharan desert. There are many examples where you see, when you see one of the students, Guem, for example, he was a student of the music school in Mali 10 years ago, and now he's a professional musician. He recorded an album, he's been traveling. So to me, that's the kind of success story that I love to see. But I wanted to say that, our goal is not to train future professional musicians. It's about using music to impact their lives. And it doesn't mean they're going to become necessarily professional musicians. Music just has a positive impact on them, whether they become musicians or not, once they're older. So I think, every story has value, and every little change kind of builds up what we're doing, around the world. So I think the example of Mali is great, but we have many examples. Our school in Morocco is also doing amazing. Our school in Ghana, we now work in a refugee settlement in Bidi, in one of the largest refugee camps in the world, in Uganda. Again, everywhere music can apply and have a positive effect on youth, on adults, young adults, and on children. And also I would say that, one aspect of the impact is, the fact that we're employing people. And we're employing artists, musicians, in places where it's not easy to make a living out of music. So that's also part of the impact. The impact is not just on children and youth, but also on the people we employ across, 13 countries right now. And we employ about 200 people at the moment. Most of them are musicians.
Wonderful. That's so great to listen. So, we are done with our questions right now, and thanks a lot for being so pleasant throughout the interview, and I really, really appreciate the wonderful work that you are doing.
Thank you.
And that's a wrap. So that was François Vigue, Director of Education of Playing for Change Foundation. I hope you find this interview insightful and informative. For more such interviews and shows, stay tuned to TALRadio, powered by Touch Your Life Foundation. This is me, RJ Saankhya, signing off until we meet next time. Take care, you all.